Hello and welcome to yet another informative video from our channel. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel Anything from Anywhere if you have not done yet. Also click on the bell icon so that you would not miss the upcoming videos from our channel. In this video I am going to tell you some brief information about the current US President. His early life, education, family, marriages and political career. Furthermore, I will tell you why he is so different and special in many ways from all the previous US presidents. So please watch the video to the end and find information about this president which I am sure will be very interesting for you. For further similar videos kindly tuned into our channel Anything from Anywhere. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. is an American politician who is the 46th and current President of the United States. A member of the Democratic Party, he previously served as the 47th Vice President from 2009 to 2017 under President Barack Obama and represented Delaware in the United States Senate from 1973 to 2009. Born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Biden moved with his family to Delaware in 1953. He studied at the University of Delaware before earning his law degree from Syracuse University. He was elected to the New Castle County Council in 1970 and to the U.S. Senate in 1972. As a senator, Biden drafted and led the effort to pass the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act and the Violence Against Women Act, and oversaw 6 U.S. Supreme Court confirmation hearings, including the contentious hearings for Robert Bork and Clarence Thomas. Biden ran unsuccessfully for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1988 and 2008. In 2008, Barack Obama chose Biden as his running mate, and Biden was a close counselor to Obama during his 2 terms as vice president. In the 2020 presidential election, Biden and his running mate, Kamala Harris, defeated incumbents Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Taking office at age 78, Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history, the first to have a female vice president, and the first from Delaware. In 2021, he signed a bipartisan infrastructure bill, as well as a $1.9 trillion economic stimulus package in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent recession. Biden proposed the Build Back Better Act, which failed in Congress, but aspects of which were incorporated into the Inflation Reduction Act that was signed into law in 2022. Biden also signed the Bipartisan CHIPS and Science Act, which focused on manufacturing, appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court and worked with congressional Republicans to prevent a first-ever national default by negotiating a deal to raise the debt ceiling. In foreign policy, Biden restored America's membership in the Paris Agreement. He oversaw the complete withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan that ended the war in Afghanistan, during which the Afghan government collapsed and the Taliban seized control. Biden has responded to the Russian invasion of Ukraine by imposing sanctions on Russia and authorizing civilian and military aid to Ukraine. In April 2023, he announced his candidacy for the Democratic Party nomination in the 2024 presidential election. Early life. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. was born on November 20, 1942, at St. Mary's Hospital in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to Catherine Eugenia Jean Biden, née Finnegan, and Joseph Robinette Biden Sr. The oldest child in a Catholic family of largely Irish descent. He has a sister, Valerie, and 2 brothers, Francis and James. Biden's father had been wealthy and the family purchased a home in the affluent Long Island suburb of Garden City in the fall of 1946, but he suffered business setbacks around the time Biden was 7 years old, and for several years the family lived with Biden's maternal grandparents in Scranton. Scranton fell into economic decline during the 1950s and Biden's father could not find steady work. Beginning in 1953 when Biden was 10, the family lived in an apartment in Claymont, Delaware, before moving to a house in nearby Mayfield. Biden Sr. later became a successful used car salesman, maintaining the family in a middle-class lifestyle. At Archmere Academy in Claymont, Biden played baseball and was a standout halfback and wide receiver on the high school football team. Though a poor student, he was class president in his junior and senior years. He graduated in 1961. At the University of Delaware in Newark, Biden briefly played freshman football, and, as an unexceptional student, earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1965 with a double major in history and political science. Biden had a stutter, and has mitigated it since his early 20s. He has described his efforts to reduce it by reciting poetry before a mirror. Marriages, law school, and early career. On August 27, 1966, Biden married Nylia Hunter, a student at Syracuse University, after overcoming her parents' reluctance for her to wed a Roman Catholic. Their wedding was held in a Catholic church in Skaneateles, New York. They had 3 children, Joseph R. Beau Biden III, Robert Hunter Biden, and Naomi Christina Amy Biden. In 1968, Biden earned a Juris Doctor from Syracuse University College of Law, ranked 76th in his class of 85, after failing a course due to an acknowledged mistake when he plagiarized a law review article for a paper he wrote in his first year at law school. He was admitted to the Delaware bar in 1969. In 1968, Biden clerked at a Wilmington law firm headed by prominent local Republican William Prickett and, he later said, thought of myself as a Republican. He disliked incumbent Democratic Delaware Governor Charles L. Terry's conservative racial politics and supported a more liberal Republican, Russell W. Peterson, who defeated Terry in 1968. Biden was recruited by local Republicans but registered as an independent because of his distaste for Republican presidential candidate Richard Nixon. In 1969, Biden practiced law, first as a public defender and then at a firm headed by a locally active Democrat who named him to the Democratic Forum, a group trying to reform and revitalize the state party. Biden subsequently re-registered as a Democrat. He and another attorney also formed a law firm. Corporate law did not appeal to him, and criminal law did not pay well. He supplemented his income by managing properties. In 1970, Biden ran for the 4th District seat on the New Castle County Council on a liberal platform that included support for public housing in the suburbs. The seat had been held by Republican Henry R. Folsom, who was running in the 5th District following a reapportionment of council districts. Biden won the general election by defeating Republican Lawrence T. Messick, and took office on January 5, 1971. He served until January 1, 1973. And was succeeded by Democrat Francis R. Swift. During his time on the county council, Biden opposed large highway projects, which he argued might disrupt Wilmington neighborhoods. Biden had not openly supported or opposed the Vietnam War until he ran for Senate and opposed Richard Nixon's conduct of the war. While studying at the University of Delaware and Syracuse University, Biden obtained 5 student draft deferments, at a time when most draftees were sent to the war. In 1968, based on a physical examination, he was given a conditional medical deferment. In 2008, a spokesperson for Biden said his having had asthma as a teenager was the reason for the deferment. Death of wife and daughter. On December 18, 1972, a few weeks after Biden was elected senator, his wife Nylia and 1-year-old daughter Naomi were killed in an automobile accident while Christmas shopping in Hockessin, Delaware. Nylia's station wagon was hit by a semi-trailer truck as she pulled out from an intersection. Their sons Beau, aged 3, and Hunter, aged 2, were taken to the hospital in fair condition, Beau with a broken leg and other wounds and Hunter with a minor skull fracture and other head injuries. Biden considered resigning to care for them, but Senate Majority Leader Mike Mansfield persuaded him not to. The accident filled Biden with anger and religious doubt. He wrote that he felt God had played a horrible trick on him, and he had trouble focusing on work. Police never filed charges against the truck driver, determining that it was Nylia who did not see the oncoming truck as she pulled out of the intersection, possibly due to visibility issues. But in later years, Biden said on several occasions that the truck driver had been drinking alcohol before the collision, and several media outlets reported this as fact. The driver died in 1999, but his daughter sought to have his name again cleared and to get an apology from Biden. The chief prosecutor who investigated the case said there was no evidence of drunk driving. Subsequently, a Biden spokesperson said that Biden fully accepts the driver's family's word that these rumors were false. Biden called the driver's daughter to apologize, and she accepted his apology. Second marriage. Biden met the teacher Jill Tracy Jacobs in 1975 on a blind date. They married at the United Nations Chapel in New York on June 17, 1977. They spent their honeymoon at Lake Balaton in the Hungarian People's Republic. Biden credits her with the renewal of his interest in politics and life. Biden is Roman Catholic and attends Mass with his wife, Jill, at St. Joseph's on the Brandywine in Greenville, Delaware. Their daughter, Ashley Biden, is a social worker, and is married to physician Howard Krein. Beau Biden became an Army judge advocate in Iraq and later Delaware Attorney General before dying of brain cancer in 2015. As of 2008, Hunter Biden was a Washington lobbyist and investment advisor. During his early years in the Senate, Biden focused on consumer protection and environmental issues and called for greater government accountability. In a 1974 interview, he described himself as liberal on civil rights and liberties, senior citizens' concerns and healthcare, but conservative on other issues, including abortion and military conscription. Biden was the first U.S. senator to endorse Jimmy Carter for president in the 1976 Democratic primary. Carter went on to win the Democratic nomination and defeat incumbent Republican President Gerald Ford in the 1976 election. Biden also worked on arms control. After Congress failed to ratify the SALT II treaty signed in 1979 by Soviet General Secretary Leonid Brezhnev and President Jimmy Carter, Biden met with Soviet Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko to communicate American concerns and secured changes that addressed the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's objections. He received considerable attention when he excoriated Secretary of State George Shultz at a Senate hearing for the Reagan administration's support of South Africa despite its continued policy of apartheid. Brain surgeries. In February 1988, after several episodes of increasingly severe neck pain, Biden was taken by ambulance to Walter Reed Army Medical Center for surgery to correct a leaking intracranial berry aneurysm. While recuperating, he suffered a pulmonary embolism, a serious complication. After a second aneurysm was surgically repaired in May, Biden's recuperation kept him away from the Senate for 7 months. Vice Presidency. On January 20, 2009, he was sworn in as the 47th Vice President of the United States. He was the first Vice President from Delaware and the first Roman Catholic Vice President. Re-election. In October 2010, Biden said Obama had asked him to remain as his running mate for the 2012 presidential election, but with Obama's popularity on the decline, White House Chief of Staff William M. Daley conducted some secret polling and focus group research in late 2011 on the idea of replacing Biden on the ticket with Hillary Clinton. The notion was dropped when the results showed no appreciable improvement for Obama, and White House officials later said Obama himself had never entertained the idea. On November 6, Obama and Biden won re-election over Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan with 332 of 538 Electoral College votes and 51% of the popular vote. Presidency, 2021 present. Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States on January 20, 2021. At 78, he is the oldest person to have assumed the office. He is the second Catholic president, after John F. Kennedy, and the first president whose home state is Delaware. He is also the first man since George H. W. Bush to have been both vice president and president, and the second non-incumbent vice president, after Richard Nixon in 1968, to be elected president. He is also the first president from the silent generation. Biden's inauguration was a muted affair unlike any previous inauguration, due to COVID-19 precautions as well as massively increased security measures because of the January 6 United States Capitol attack. Trump did not attend, becoming the first outgoing president since 1869 to not attend his successor's inauguration. Thank you very much for watching this videos. We appreciate your time for watching this informative video and request you to kindly subscribe our channel Anything from Anywhere. See you again with our upcoming videos.